Welcome to the manga tier list video. In this video I'm gonna be ranking 66 mangas I have read so far on tier S to D, but tier lists are renamed as life-changing, almost perfect, decent binge, forgot, and ass. This is my personal touch to it, and all of the rankings are personally biased, so it doesn't mean you have to agree with it. It doesn't mean you have to take some kind of offense. It's just my opinion, and your opinion is valid as well. So if you disagree with some of the rankings, you can leave a comment and we can have that discussion. I'm open to that conversation. Leave a like, subscribe, enjoy the video. Let's get started, shall we? The order is random. I might go by the order, or I might pick some of them randomly if they are if they have some kind of connection to the one I rate. Okay, so the first one is He is a High Schooler Girl. This is a comedy manhwa. I've read it maybe 10 years ago, probably 10 years ago, I'm not sure. But yeah, it is really good. It is about a guy cross-dressing as a girl, and it might sound suspicious, it might sound sus, it might sound freaky, but it's nothing like that. It's very wholesome. It's about a guy trying to protect his sister. So the sister is getting bullied in school. The guy finds out and he goes undercover. He disguises himself as a new girl, transfers girl to the school, to the school that his sister attends, right? So he goes there, tries to fight the bullies, and there's a lot of humor to it. It is a comedy, and there are I think this is the best comedy manhwa I have read. So it's gonna be almost perfect. It is really good. I have read it several times, but the problem is it doesn't have anything that hits you. You know that it is very good. It's almost perfect. If it had a little bit of life lesson or something like that, it would have been life-changing. But yeah, overall it's really good. I recommend it to anyone who is interested in manhwa and comedy. Okay, next is the Beginning After the End. So Beginning After the End, I'm gonna go for life-changing for now, and I'm gonna explain why is it life-changing. It's not because it did a really big impact on me. No, it is because I really liked it and started reading light novels. Because I started the manhwa, right? I have read like 150 chapters or something, and I caught up, so there were no new chapters. Then I realized it has light novel, so I go and download the light novels. First, I downloaded the ones that are available online, but then I went and bought the books. I bought the books, and this is the first time ever that I bought light novel. So I bought the book, I have read it, then I went and bought the other ones, and for 2 years now, when the new book comes out, I've been buying it, and it has 11 books right now. And I think the 12th one is coming out, like right now it's going out chapter by chapter, and probably next year it's gonna be complete and it's gonna be the last book. So I am really glad that I had the chance to read it while it's coming out. And it is the first time that I bought the book and read it, so that's why it's life-changing. and it is really good. It is really good, and it is, if you know Mushoku Tensei, Jobless Reincarnation, it is heavily inspired from that. And I have read Mushoku Tensei as well. It is somewhere here. Let me find it. Is it over here? So Mushoku Tensei, I'm gonna read as. Why? Because I really hate the pervy side of it. Like I even forgot the main character's name. Like his fixation on the panties of his master. Yeah, I really hate it. If it was less pervy, maybe I would have liked it, because the story is interesting and the character is like the beginning after the end, and Mushoku Tensei, they're almost the same. They are hugely inspired. The beginning after the end is hugely inspired by Mushoku Tensei, but I think beginning after the end does it better. And also, while reading the beginning after the end, I felt like the world building was better, because the story was not revolved around only the main character. If you take out the main character out of the story, the world still moves on, and it keeps building. There are more interesting characters that you want to follow. And Mushoku Tensei, I didn't get that. Everything was resolved around the main character and his perviness. And later I heard from the guys that have read the book till the end that he marries like 6 girls and gets like 50 kids or something. Like, what is this? Yeah, it is really not for me. So that's why it's ass, dude. It's really ass. Okay, now next on the list is Omniscient Reader. Omniscient Reader, I don't know if I'm pronouncing the name correctly, but yeah, it is gonna be decent bench, because someone recommended it to me, and it started really good. I really like the idea of the guy reading the book and then using that knowledge to survive the apocalypse. But it is missing something. I don't know what it is, but it is missing something. And I have caught up and stopped it. So right now I'm not reading it. There are new chapters coming out, but I think I'll just keep it, pause it for some time, and then later on maybe pick it up. So I'm not dropping it, but I have paused it because it is decent binge, but it does not call to me, right? So I don't want to go and read it and find out what's going on. So yeah, it is decent binge. If you want to binge some isekai and you don't know what to binge, I recommend Omniscient Reader. But the problem is it's ongoing, so you might caught up to it and you will have to wait. So for now, yeah, decent binge, I recommend. Next, Windbreaker. Okay, Windbreaker is gonna be life-changing for me. It is about a guy who really likes cycling. He finds some people in the college he's attending to, and they create a cycling team, and they start competing in the tournaments. So there's a tournament arc and everything. Also, the characters are really interesting. There's a good motivation. Each character has its own motivation. Like, they want to raise money to help one of the characters' sick mother. One needs money to prove himself to his father, and The main character is motivated because he wants to prove that his uncle was not a cheater. So yeah, each character in the team has really good motivation, so it's not only about one person and his goal. And there's a romance in it, also interesting. And there are 4 seasons. Its 4th season is going on right now, and the art it improves really greatly by each season. I have paused it again, but I'm just waiting for the 4th season to finish so I can read the whole season, like binge the whole season. It is really good, and there were a lot of relatable parts on the main character because he is pressured to do good in school and have really strict parents. I mean, it is like Asian culture. It's Korean, right? So yeah, it's close to Asian culture. Like strict Asian parents that wants their kid to be a doctor or like a lawyer or something, and they don't really care about what their kid really wants. So yeah, that side, it was really relatable part, and that's why it left a mark in my life, and that's why it is in the life-changing tier. Okay, next is a Weak Hero. It is also a manhwa. It is a manhwa about a guy that becomes traumatized by some event. I'm not gonna spoil it. And then he changed school, and then he changed to the school where bullies are very like running wild or something. How do you call it? So yeah, he goes to that school, and then when bullies try to pick on him, he fights back and becomes really popular because he fought back and beaten the bully himself. But for me, it is I forgot, or as I'm gonna go as why, because it's really just boring read. It's a guy that is so OP that no matter who comes, he's gonna beat them. He's not gonna lose. There were parts where it looked like he might lose, but not really. Like, there was no part where he really lost. He always won every fight he was in, and it was like always one-sided, you know. He's too OP, and the story is only about bullies. There's nothing else. There is no other like, how do you say, slice of life part or something that keeps you in the story. It's always only about a new bully and how they want to beat him. And they beat one bully, and there's a bully that is above him. Then they beat him, and there is a bully of the, like, they start with the class, right? So they beat the bully in the class. Then there's a bully in the year, like freshman year. He beats that. Then there's a bully for the school. He beats that. Then there's a bully for the region. So it keeps going up, and it is really like dumb system, power scaling. High schoolers shouldn't be that OP, like fighting. So yeah, that's why it's next, Moonlight Sculptor. The Moonlight Sculptor is gonna be almost perfect. Actually, almost perfect is the same as perfect, just it's not maybe I should change it to perfect, but I'm gonna keep it right now as almost perfect. Yeah, the Moonlight Sculptor is Oh, I know why it's almost perfect, because it is really good, but it's not finished. It went to hiatus and it never came back. That's why it's almost perfect. And yeah, it is about a guy that logs into a game, and in that game world he does it really good. He becomes really good in this game. His relationship with the other people in this game kept me interested in this manhwa. So yeah, it has been cancelled. It is not on hiatus, it's cancelled for good now. Yeah, that's the only bad part, that it's not finished. Okay, next, Solo Leveling. It's gonna be at almost perfect. Why? I know Solo Leveling is very popular. I know the manga is very popular and a lot of people really like it, but it is not perfect for me, because the most basic trope in the manga manhwa, that he's OP, he's gonna win anyone that comes after him. So he is beating very OP character, then they introduce another OP character and he's gonna beat him again. The power scaling, yeah, the power scaling is really bad. The main character is beating everyone, so that's the problem. Again, if you don't know, Solo Leveling is about a world where there are people that awaken abilities that lets them become rankers, hunters. They go into dungeons and clear these dungeons, and the main character, he starts at lowest rank. He's gonna be E rank, but then he goes into one dungeon that changes everything. He becomes very strong after that. He sacrificed himself, and because of that sacrifice he becomes very strong. So that's the start of the story, and I'm not gonna spoil the rest, but that's the premise. And yeah, it is almost perfect, but for me the power scaling, that's what it lacks. Like, if it had better power scaling, maybe it would have been at the S tier. Like, okay, then I'm gonna go Kaiju number 8. I'm gonna put it in I forgot. Kaiju number 8. Okay, I have read 100 chapters. Stopped there. I have read quite a lot then, turns out. I was thinking maybe I have read less. But yeah, 100 chapters, and again, it is very like standard manga, where the character wants to save the world. He is very weak, something happens, then he becomes very strong, and he now has the power to change everything, and whatever he does, everything keeps going his way. There are strong characters and he's stronger than most of them, so he's beating everyone anyway. So yeah, that's the part that pushed me away from the story, that it is very standard. It does not have anything special. Maybe someday I might pick it back up and try to read it. Okay, now let's go Hunter x Hunter. I'm gonna go almost perfect. The reason is because it is, again, the ending. Like, it's still ongoing. How many years has it been ongoing? Like 50 years or something? Yeah, it is standard shonen, you know. The orphan main character, he has some friends, and he goes to the tournament, he wins it, his father is away, he tries to find his father, and they have a training arc, they have a tournament arc, then they find out a villain, they beat the villain. So yeah, it's standard, but they do it really good. Even though it's standard, it is still interesting. It feels still fresh because of the power system they put in place, and there are really emotional moments. The villain trope is very iconic. Hisoka is very iconic. One moment of the main character that is very iconic. So yeah, it has a lot of iconic moments, and that's why it is almost perfect. But the latest chapters, they have turned into a like night novel almost. It's a lot of text and very few manga panels. So yeah, it is almost perfect for that reason. Okay, then let's go Berserk. So Berserk is gonna be life-changing. Obviously, it is number one. The main character Gantz is like, he is idolized by many people, and I really like the dark fantasy world. All of the most of the mangas I read, you're gonna notice that it's a dark fantasy. Yeah, I really like dark fantasy, and Berserk I think has done it in the most brilliant way. The monsters are very interesting, feels unique. The story is really great, and I like how they structured it. Like we see Guts at the very beginning, how he's already like doing some bounty hunting or head hunting, how do you call hunting down the devils, right? Demons. But then we go back and find out how he have turned this way. And Griffith is also a good, well-written character. How he just wanted to do a good in his own way, but maybe he just got lost in his purpose. Yeah, I'm not a Griffith. How do you say? Apologetic defender. I really hate him. I really hate what he did to Casca and Guts. But I understand why some people might defend him, and what was his reason for that. What is life-changing, because when I read it, the character of Guts maybe at some point influenced my character. How he is like very kind, he does everything for his friends, and even though like the most traumatic things happen to him, he still keeps going on. So I really like the story, the world, the characters, everything. Yeah, it is life-changing, and I recommend everyone reading it, but be careful because it is very dark, very dark. So Noblesse, Noblesse, I don't know how do you pronounce it. I'm gonna put it that I forgot. It is about vampires, it is about werewolves. Yeah, it is about monsters. All those monsters. I forgot already. And the main character is vampire, and very powerful one. He has his servant, and they go to school because he woke up from a long sleep. Now he wants to attend school, be a normal student, but his past won't let him do that, because yeah, they keep calling him because he was powerful, and his past keeps bringing him out to that monster world. And I think it was a victim of the standard manhwa problem that when the story gets good, they keep milking it. They keep doing more chapters. They keep adding new things, new stories, arcs, just because it's popular and they want to make more money out of it. I think it had a good moment where it could have ended, but yeah, they dragged it out too much. Then at the end, I just pushed through and finished it. Like it was getting a little bit exhausting just trying to finish it, because it had lost its charm already. Maybe if it ended earlier, it would have been higher, but for the reason that it got dragged out, it's on the RF card. Okay, now let's go to manga, and it's gonna be 2226 by Fujimoto. It's gonna be let's put it at perfect. I'm gonna add a slash here. It's like almost perfect or perfect. It is short stories by Fujimoto, the author of Chainsawman. When I read it, I really enjoyed it. This is the first time that I have read like collections of manga. Before, I always read series, right, with volumes. This is the first time because I liked the author, Fujimoto, really. I went out and bought his other books, and you're gonna see a lot of books from him, a lot of manga from him, because I really like his style, and I kept going back to him and searching what else he has wrote and try to read as much as possible. Okay, next is I'm Sorry Mom. It's gonna be decent Lynch. It is about a woman that is dying, but his son makes a deal with the devil, and he says like, please take away my mother's sickness, I'm gonna do anything and take my life instead. The devil agrees, so now mom no longer has a sickness, but there's a catch. The son has to make sure that mom does not regret this happening. Like the guy is going to die because he made the deal, right? So he has to make sure when he dies, the mother won't regret the whole thing, mother won't suffer. So he tries to make sure of that. And there's also another catch. The mom is cured of sickness, right? But it's not like that sickness disappeared. The mom just got younger to the year where she didn't have the sickness yet. So if mother was, I don't remember the exact age, but if the mother was, let's say, 60 years old, after the deal, she is now 24, and she has to go to university and college and everything. So yeah, it is interesting. There's some slice of life parts, and there's some relations of mother-son. I think it is good, and it is completed, so you can just binge read everything. And I think the ending was also like good. It was not bad. The ending was good. So yeah, it's perfectly in the middle. Okay, next. Let's go with Dr.Stone. Dr.Stone is gonna be a decent binge for me. It is about a guy who is back in the Stone Age, but he knows how to he's a scientist and he knows how to do a lot of new discoveries, and because of that he keeps being the front runner of this world. How do you call it? And yeah, it is very interesting seeing how the inventions of the past being discovered by this guy in a very, very creative ways. That part is really interesting, and if you have maybe some chemistry background or biology background or any kind of science background, maybe it will be even more interesting, because I have engineering background. The discovery, the engineering part of his solutions, his discoveries were very interesting for me. But yeah, it is a decent binge. It could be better, because I didn't feel like there was a investment in my part. I was not invested in the story much, and it was not bad. So it is also in the middle, decent binge. It is completed now. I feel like at some point I need to finish it, but I'm gonna try and finish it at some point. And yeah, I recommend it for decent binge reading. It is good. Next is Wild Girls. It's gonna be I don't know where to put it, at the perfect or lefting. I'm gonna put at life-changing. It is about a guy, orphan guy, has two siblings, and he has to do scholarship to keep the family fed. Like he has to do a side job while studying. He has to take care of his siblings, and he has to go to a school. And now here where the story starts, there's a new school that offers him scholarship, so he goes to this school. But the school is previously only girls school. So yeah, this is the first year that this school has become mixed school, so guys and girls now can attend this, and there were not many guys applying to the school, so the director found out about this guy and reached out to him, made a very generous offer to get this guy to the school, and he wants to advertise his school through this guy. And turns out that this guy is the only guy in the all-girls school. Previously all-girls school, currently mixed school. And there's a huge tournament that happens every year, martial arts tournaments like boxing, taekwondo, karate, wushu, and all kinds of martial arts, right? And this guy has to participate in it as well, and he chooses boxing. He gets close with some of the girls. The guy now has to do a tournament and fight the girls, and even though he's a guy, he has a hard time doing everything. And the story about the guy, how he has to take care of his siblings, how he suffers from bullying and everything, it's very, very touching. And I had, maybe this was the first manhwa manga that made me cry, so that's why it is at the top. And every time I read it, every time there's moments that I start crying. Yeah, it is really good, really good. I recommend it. And now let's do Slam Dunk. Slam Dunk is life-changing for me. I think it's the first sports manga I have ever read. It is about basketball. It's about the guy, the main character. He joins the tournament, and at the beginning he's not very interested about it, but later he gets very invested in it. There's a whole chapter that has not a single word, not a single text, but still that chapter is so good, like so emotionally good. You get really good enjoyment out of it. Just looking at the pictures, you can feel the emotions, you can feel the story, you can enjoy it that way. Yeah, Slam Dunk, the best sports manga I have ever read. Art is very good, story is very good. Even though it's old, I think it is really good. It's classic. I recommend for everyone. Okay, now Cheese in the Trap. Cheese in the Trap is life-changing for me, and it is a romance manhwa, right? But I don't like it because of the romance. I like it because of the main character, Sol, and her life around being a university student. So the story is Sol, the main character, has to do a university. She takes a gap year, then comes back. She has academic leave, comes back. Now she has to get a scholarship. If she doesn't get a scholarship, she can't continue the semester, the whole year. So she has to get a scholarship, but there's a guy that is at the top, so she has a competitor, and for some reason this guy drops out. The main character Sol ends up getting the scholarship, and there starts a mystery, like why did the guy do this for her? Like what is the motivation behind it? Why is the guy doing it? And other than the university life, how the main character has family relationships, relationship with friends, the pressure of trying to be good at the university, trying to keep up with work, trying to not be a burden to family, trying to keep the romantic life, everything. It is very relatable, and reading it at my university years, I felt very related to the main character, and it kept me through some tough times. So yeah, that's why it is life-changing for me. And if I get the chance to read everything again, I'm gonna do it. But it has so many chapters. Like, it has 4 seasons and 400 plus chapters, 4 seasons, and yeah, it is a lot. That's the only thing that might scare you, but I'm telling you, if you read it, I don't think you're gonna regret it. Now, let's do Black Clover. Black Clover is I'm gonna go for I forgot. Black Clover is really good at the start. It feels like something new, but at the same time it's not new. It's the same basic story. Main character who has no powers, and a rival who is very talented. So yeah, the main guy, he is in a world where he does not have the power like everyone, but that's what makes him special, because of that he can get another power. And let's say there's a world where everyone has power A. This guy has 0 of that power A, so that makes him eligible to gain power B. And now he's the only one who has power B, but his childhood friend, he becomes a rival because he is the most gifted in power A. Yeah, so it is a very standard shonen. They have tournament arc, they have training arc, they have the same I think they have the problem of adding new arcs that feel out of place. Like you read the arc, you finish it, and then there's a new arc and you feel like, how did this happen? Where did this guy come from? And why are we doing this now? So yeah, the arcs don't feel really connected. That's why I dropped it, and that's why it's in the I forgot tier, C tier. Okay, dice. Dice is I forgot because it is interesting. It is a world where a main character gets a power. The power is around. I even forgot what kind of power it was. It was around dice that you kill someone and they drop a dice. You pick up that dice, and sometimes the dice is special. It has some special power. I don't remember why there was a dice. Like, they don't roll the dice, but they collect the dice. Defeat the main villain, and if you do that, you will get a dice that grants all your wishes. That's the main story, right? And the problem here is, again, it is really dragged out. Maybe if it ended earlier, it would have been better. I'm not gonna spoil it, but the story is unique. I like how they did the dice thing elements to it, but at the same time, yeah, it is really dragged out and it is not really that interesting. So it is in I forgot list. Okay, let's go manga. It is Homeless God. I'm gonna go for I forgot, because it again. No, it deserved better. I'm gonna go for decent binge. It is good. I really like the story. I really like how the main character is not always winning. He is very well written. He loses sometimes. He's not really OP. He's very low tier. But as I was reading it, I think it lost its charm about how it's being very unique, like how the main character being not the best OP and doing things in his own way. There was a new arc when it turned out to be about the other character. That's when I lost interest. So it is better than most of the mangas. It's really decent binge. I recommend it. Yeah, decent binge. So Bastard is almost perfect. It is about a guy who's, I think it's gonna be spoiler if I say too much. That's why I'm not gonna say anything about it. Only thing I'm gonna say is it is a psychological horror, and I think Bastard was the first time I read anything from this genre, and I really liked it. I really liked it. The twist was really good. The story is really good, and it keeps you anxious, worried, on the edge. It's really good. I recommend it. I think it is at the top of the list on the manhwa ratings, and it deserves to be there. It is really good. Okay, next let's do Promised Neverland. I think that's the name. It's gonna go to Almost Perfect because I have binge read all of it. It is good. It is unique. The story is very unique. I felt like it was. I felt like I have never read anything even remotely close to it. But at the same time, there are some similarities to the story I have read, like Maze Runner. Maybe Maze Runner was inspired by it. Maybe the Neverland was inspired by Maze Runner. I don't know that, but yeah, I have noticed some similarities. And yeah, it was really good. I really enjoyed it, but the ending I felt like was confusing a bit, and I felt like pushing it to finish it. I was not really excited about the ending, but at the same time I was interested enough to finish it. And I'm gonna say I was not disappointed by the ending, but I wanted something more. Yeah, but it was good. It was good overall. So yeah, it is Almost Perfect. It is 80. Okay, this. I always mess up the name. Let me look up the name. Annarasumanara. It is S tier because it is very short, but at the same time it is very fulfilling. I don't know what it is. I don't know why that is. I think mostly because of the visuals. The visuals are so great. When I was reading it, I was so immersed into it, and I have never read anything in this style before. The art style was great. The story was interesting. It is a mystery, and I think it is a little bit psychological. But yeah, it is really good. It is really short. I'd recommend if you wanna check it out. Next, Tokyo Ghoul is life-changing for me because the story of Kaneki, how he wants to be part of both worlds. If you don't know, Tokyo Ghoul is a story about a guy who lives in a world where there are ghouls who eat people. Then something happens. Again, I don't want to tell you too much to not spoil it, but something happens and he becomes a ghoul. But he's not fully a ghoul, he's half ghoul, and also he's still a human, so he struggles to be part of this both worlds, right? He's no longer human, but he's not really a ghoul either. He does not really want to be a ghoul. So yeah, he needs to find this balance to be in both worlds. And the story is really interesting. If you have seen the anime and then got disappointed, because I have heard that anime was disappointing and it was confusing because they dropped and cut out a lot of parts. I recommend trying the manga. I'm gonna do the rare life changing. There's 2 parts, Tokyo Ghoul, Tokyo Ghoul Rare, and both are really amazing. I have bought the box set of Tokyo Ghoul, and my next goal is buying Tokyo Ghoul Rare box set. There's a thing that the main character does. He cracks his fingers doing this way, and subconsciously while reading it, I started cracking my fingers like that. I don't know how that happened, but now if I want to crack my fingers, I do it in the way that they showed how the Kaneki does it in the manga. It's not because I want to do it, it's not because I find it cool. It just subconsciously happened, and I can't change it. So yeah, it was really great, and the story is really good. The character development of Kaneki is really great. How he starts to accept the things that he was not accepting at the start. It is really good story. Yeah, if you heard that Tokyo Ghoul was not good and it was disappointing, I request you to give it a chance. It is really good. It is really good. Okay, let's go to Lookism, and Lookism is gonna be ass. Why? Because it is super long. Yeah, it is still ongoing. Like, how is it still ongoing? I don't understand. So the story was about a guy, a very ugly fat guy who gets bullied constantly, somehow getting a power to change his body and become really good looking hot guy. And now he has to live these 2 lives. When he sleeps in one body, he wakes up in another body, right? So now he has to do this balance of 2 lives where at certain times he's the ugly guy, at certain times he's the hot looking guy, and yeah, now he has to find the optimal times to sleep and be awake at this exact needed body when needed. That was the whole premise of the story. That was what made it unique. But then it has turned into a turf wars gangsta fighting manga or manhwa or something. Like, reading it, I felt like it was no longer the manhwa that I started. They really forgot about the part where the main character needs to sleep, and if he doesn't sleep, it's like something unexpected is gonna happen, and he has to switch bodies and everything. So I felt like they forgot about that part and kept going with the new turf war gangsta shit, and that felt really uninteresting to me because I was invested on the body switching balance side of the story. Maybe if it was turf wars from the beginning, maybe I wouldn't have dropped it, maybe I wouldn't have felt so strongly opposed to it. But because it started that way and then turned into something else, that's why I dropped it. That's why I feel like I don't know, TBATE or something. And yeah, I'm gonna rate it very low, and I don't think I will ever pick up and finish it. And it baffles me, like, how is it still ongoing? Okay, now let's go to Food Wars. I forgot the Japanese name. It's gonna be decent bench. It is good, but the only bad part is the fan service. How people experience something close to orgasm when they eat food. That's the only downside of the story if you're not into it, like I'm not. But I felt like the whole thing was interesting enough to look past this fan service. I'm not a fan of fan service, yeah, unironically, but in this I didn't felt very strongly opposed to it. Let's say it like that. And it is finished, so it's completed, so you can binge read the whole thing. Also, I don't know if I have finished it. I feel like I haven't finished it. Maybe there are some chapters left that I need to go back and finish it. But yeah, it is decent binge. I'm gonna rate it decent binge because it could be better and could be a lot worse. I think it's perfectly in the middle. Okay, the God of High School. It can be as, or it can be I forgot. I'm gonna put it for I forgot for now. Why? Because the very first arc was really good. Very first arc where it was a high school fighting tournament, and how the drawings were made, how the art style kept you invested in it, and how the story progressed. It was really good. I really liked it. But as soon as the first arc finished and the second arc started, I dropped it. Because if at the beginning it felt really grounded, like high school guys just fighting, doing martial arts, it quickly became like supernatural. The main character is some kind of god reborn or something. Yeah, as soon as they start pushing that, I dropped it because, again, just like Lookism, it's not okay. I'm gonna drop it to S. It's not something that they hooked me in with, right? I got invested because it was high school martial art, and now you're telling me a god in a high school boy body doing the fightings? Yeah, I quickly lost interest at that part. But again, just because I have dropped it, it doesn't mean it's bad. Maybe you can try to read it. Maybe it is something that you will be interested in. And the first arc is really good. Overall, considering that it's not the whole thing and there's more, and that I dropped it, for now I'm gonna rank it at lowest tier. Next one, it's gonna be, let's do the last one, Tower of God, and it's gonna be S tier. It is really S tier. It is the first time I think I have read this genre. It is the level up tower, like the name is Tower of God, right? And in manga, in manhwa, it is a commonly used thing where there's a tower and you have to climb it by leveling up like doing some kind of challenge in each level. But in this one, it felt really interesting because the motivation behind the guy doing it felt really good, and the story is it has a lot of twists. How the main character gets betrayed felt really like emotionally. It just gets you emotionally. I don't know why. And also the art style, it's is not very like how do you say? It's not the best art style out there, right? Like the Solo Leveling has 10 times better quality in art, but again, it is subjective because it is not very flashy, but I think that's the charm in it. It looks clean enough. It looks like messy enough, and that's the charm of that art style. And also it improves a bit, but it keeps the feel. It keeps that style of being a little messy, like a little unpolished style. I really like that style, and the story is really great. And also again here, because it is very long, it has like maybe if I'm not mistaken, either 600 chapters or 900 chapters, I'm not sure. And because it was long, you might be a little afraid to start it, but I promise you it's gonna be worth your time. Also, I have stopped it at the time where I caught up, and I'm waiting for it to gain some chapters. And when it gains some chapters, and when it's finished, I'm gonna resume it. But overall, yeah, it is very, very good. I'm gonna go next with 1721. Again, like the previous story collection from Fujimoto, I'm gonna rank it at perfect. It's not something like life-changing, but it is really good. I'm really glad I bought them and I had the chance to read them. And I recommend reading it, and it's really short stories that each one feels that has a good impact on you. Yeah, I recommend it. It's perfect. It's perfect at the A tier. Okay, Junjito. Now, Junjito, if we go with Uzumaki. Where is Uzumaki? Let's rank all of the Junjito stories. Uzumaki, S tier, life-changing. I have never read Junjito before, and I have never really read the horror genre. I have read dark fantasy, gore, right? But none of them are labeled as horror, and I think Junjito is the only one that's labeled as horror. And Uzumaki is the first one that I read it, but at the same time it doesn't feel really horror, but it is really creepy. I would have labeled it as that, and it's really good, even though at times it feels like the story is not connected enough. The end really just brings everything together, and it is S tier. Here, this story collection, I think it was smashed. Yeah, it is smashed. The story collection. The story collection is really good. It is perfect collection. It's not life-changing like Uzumaki, but because now I'm interested in Junjito, I want to read and collect all of Junjito's stories. And when I read Smashed, I felt like each story was good, and I was not disappointed in reading it. I felt like it was a perfect combination of stories that were put together, and yeah, I really enjoyed it. Perfectly at the A tier. Next, Tomie, I don't know how to pronounce it. but it is gonna be at it's either S tier or A tier. I don't know how to rank it. I'm gonna rank it at A tier for now. It is perfect. The story is really great. It is about a girl, Tomie, she has some unique powers. You can't kill her, she keeps coming back. You find out how it can lead to unique stories and situations. Yeah, it is really good. It is perfect. At A tier, I recommend it. And the Gyo, how do you pronounce it? I think it's gonna be decent bench. So yeah, if I have to rate Junchito's books, right? So Uzumaki is S tier, Tomie and Smashed is A tier, and Gaio is B tier. It's not bad. It's really great. The idea of fishes fighting back and being on the surface, it's really terrifying. But I felt a little bit confused, like how it happened and why it happened. So that part is the one that left me undecided. I liked it, so it's a decent bench. Fire Punch. It's Fire Punch. It's again from Fujimoto. I really like it. It has only 8 volumes. I think it has only 8 volumes. I really loved it. It has the Fujimoto style. It's a little bit weird, and you might find it like maybe too weird for you. I'm not gonna spoil it, but the story is very, I'm gonna say weirdly good, because with Fujimoto you don't know what's happening, how he's gonna get you. It's really weird and unique at the same time. It's weirdly good. That's how I can describe it. I have a plan to collect all of the volumes of Fire Punch next. I really liked it. And yeah, let's finish with Fujimoto, right? Chainsawman S tier. Life-changing part of it was me reading it and then falling in love with Fujimoto. Chainsawman is really good. I have the first 11 volumes, and I have some of the newer volumes like 12, 13, 14 I think, but I haven't read them. I haven't read past the first part. I'm not gonna spoil it, but first part is really good. I liked how weird it is. I like how the author keeps you hooked, like you don't know what's gonna happen next. You don't know how weird it's gonna get, and believe me, it's gonna get really weird. There's a anime on Chainsawman. Anime is also a certified banger. If you have watched the anime and waiting for the second season, I think you should pick up the manga and try to read it, because manga is an experience on his own. And Denji, he's very different. He has no goals of saving the world or becoming a hero. He just wants to do the things that he wants to do. That's why he's relatable. He's just normal guy. Okay, now next work of Fujimoto, Look Back. It's perfect. I'm not gonna put it at life-changing, but it It is really good. It is perfect. And I just found out there's an anime for Look Back. And the story of the Look Back is, again, it feels like a really normal story at the beginning, but it gets really weird. And yeah, that's why it's Fujimoto, that's why it's great. It feels like slice of life, normal story, but it gets weird really quickly, and I like it that way, like when it starts to confuse you, when you know that you understand, the author does something, flips the switch, and you no longer understand anything. That's why it's good. And Sayonara Eri, Goodbye Eri, I think it is also S tier. When I bought it, when I read it, again, it was very unique. Like it is a story of the guy. It's like a POV if you were always recording on the phone. So the panels are drawn in that way, like it always feels like you are watching through the screen. Through the screen. Why? Because the main character is recording something and you are seeing what he is recording. And it is really great. Again, it starts normal, but then it gets really weird, really weird. And at the end, as a reader, you have to decide what was real, what was imagination, and what was made up. That's why, again, it's good. That's what I like. And it was very emotional as well. The story is very emotional. I'm not gonna spoil it. I recommend you going and picking up and reading it. It is really short. It's one shot. It is one book. The whole book is one story. You're gonna read it and complete it and be done with it. I really hope they're gonna make anime for Sayonara Eri as well, because since they made anime for Look Back, I have hopes that they're gonna make anime for Sayonara Eri as well. I don't know, I'm not really interested in anime. I don't watch many anime, but I'm willing to go and check out Fujimoto's work. I watched the Chainsawman anime and it was really good. I liked it. I feel like it's rarely that reading the manga and anime feels like different, right? So it's one of those rare occasions when watching the manga, or reading the manga then watching the anime, like amplified my experience. Like I enjoyed the whole story more because first I read the manga, then I watched the anime. So yeah, there's that. I think we're done with Fujimoto, and next is Choujin X. Choujin X is gonna be at, I forgot. Why do I know about it? It is because it's the same author as Tokyo Ghoul. When I first found out about Choujin X, it was presented to me as a new story that the author of Tokyo Ghoul is doing, where he wanted to fix all the problems that Tokyo Ghoul had. And reading it felt similar to Tokyo Ghoul, but different at the same time. But I felt like it didn't have the charm of Tokyo Ghoul. And when I started it, it had very few chapters. 19 chapters, 18, like 15 chapters. Let's say it had 15 chapters. I read all 15. Then I followed it for 2-3 weeks. at 19th chapter I stopped it. I don't know why. Maybe it was on hiatus, or maybe I just stopped it and I haven't continued from there. That's why it is an I forgot tier. But it was good enough. Maybe you will like it if you read it, and maybe at some point I'm gonna pick it back up, but for now it's on I forgot tier. Next, Fire Force, it's ass. I'm sorry, but it's ass. What I hate about Fire Force is how, okay, the story is special firefighters who all have some kind of superpowers, right? That's the simplest way to explain it. But what I hate about it the most is the fan service and the character. She falls on some guy and his hand is on her boobs, so that's the most of it. Like every time she falls down and someone is grabbing her boob, and she is sometimes like naked, sometimes only in her underwear. So that's the part that gave me the ick, and I dropped it. The story was not interesting enough for me to look over the cringy ass fan service. The story was very basic. That's why I dropped it, and that's why I'm rating it as. But I believe the anime opening is banger. I think I have it on my playlist. I have never watched anime. I just heard the song somewhere and I added it to my playlist, and later I found out it was opening for the Fire Force. So yeah, if you like the anime, maybe anime is good, and if you don't mind the fan service, maybe the story is also good for you. But for me, it's ass. Okay, Prison School. Prison School is gonna be either decent bench or it's gonna be decent bench. I have benched it. Again, this is mostly ecchi fan service manga, right? But it was a decent bench for the right time. When you're in the mood, it's really good. The comedy is good, and loot. Am I saying it right? Yeah, but the story, the comedy, I think it compensates well. Like it's perfectly balanced between the both. It is not only fan service, it is comedy, and it's really good, perfectly balanced. And I'm gonna go Grand Blue next, and Grand Blue is S tier. It is comedy, and it also has some lewd moments, but I feel like it is less freaky and sassy than Prison School, but at the same time, yeah, it is a little freaky, a little sus, but it does it better than Prison School. And the comedy is really great. It is a story about diving, and the first time ever I got interested in diving, and that's why I'll rate it S tier. I don't think it's finished. I have paused it. I'm gonna pick it back up at some point. Okay, let's do One Piece. How am I still not doing One Piece? One Piece is S tier. Like, there's no argument here. This is the only manga that I've been following all whole time of me reading manga, right? So there were mangas that have dropped, there were mangas that I have lost my interest, there were mangas that I started and finished, but One Piece is the only one that I've been reading the whole time. And the best thing about One Piece is I feel like Ichiro Oda does it really great, that the story never feels author is getting shit out from their ass, right? He always leaves foreshadowing, like some teaser sneak peeks so that when the new arc starts, you know it was coming. So he builds the world really great. Of course, he has his own problem, like the aura, the haki was not existent before, then he later added these things. Yeah, there are some little bit of inconsistencies, but overall I never felt like the story was out of place. I always felt like it was coming, and it was justified because the explanation felt right. And yeah, it is really good. I never watched the anime. I tried to watch it, then I found out about One Piece. I tried to do that, but it is too long, and 1,000 episodes, I don't want to watch that. I have already read 1,000 chapters like 1 or 2 times, maybe 3 times, I don't know. And reading, yeah, I can read 1,000 chapters, but I don't want to watch 1,000 episodes. It feels like too great of a commitment. So if remake comes out and it will be less episodes, I'm gonna watch that. But yeah, One Piece, it is the best S tier, I recommend. So while we are at it, let's do the big 3. So yeah, One Piece, then Bleach. Bleach is almost perfect. Let's say it's almost perfect. It's great. It is a big 3 for a reason, right? But also I felt a little lost at times. I wanted more from the story. It just has down moments when the story, the first arc is really great, then it has a drop down a bit, but then it picks up at the last chapter. I mean at the last arc. So it is really great, and also they're animating the latest arc right now, so you might want to pick up and read it, and then watch the latest animations and enjoy it in the best quality. Okay, One Piece, Bleach, and Naruto, right? So Naruto is gonna be... where is it? Naruto is gonna be decent bench for me. Naruto never anything special to me. I don't know why. It just felt very basic. Like, main character, he knows only one technique, Rasengan, and he only does that. Also, no matter what kind of enemy shows up, always they're stronger, and always Naruto is there to beat them. And when his single technique Rasengan doesn't work, he does the talking the enemy, the villain, out of their plan. It is very cliche. I don't like those parts of it, but overall it's really great. The story is unique. It's being about ninjas and doing some ninja techniques. I feel like also very iconic. Akatsuki is very iconic. The Pain arc, I really love it. I feel like it is the best arc of Naruto overall. Best story, best villain. But yeah, if you take the series as a whole, it's just mid for me, like perfectly in the middle. Yeah, I might get some hate for it, some comments, but I'm gonna rate Boruto higher than Naruto. It's not anime, don't get me wrong, anime is dog shit. Boruto anime is dog shit, but hear me out, the manga is really good. I think it does the things that Naruto couldn't do a little bit better. It has a lot of questionable moments, like how the main characters are designed, like how minors are sexualized in the drawing by the author. I'm not gonna argue with that. I fully agree. It's really weird. But if we are moving that aside, if we're looking at the story, solely story, the story is really good. I think the story is really good. If you have watched the anime and think that Boruto is trash, I agree, the anime is trash, but I ask you to give a chance to Boruto manga because it's very different, completely different thing. It has no bad parts from the anime, it has only good parts from the anime. And yeah, for me, for some reason, it feels more enjoyable and satisfying than the original Naruto. It feels more dark, it feels more story oriented. I don't know, maybe I should reread Naruto and maybe that will change something in me, but for now Boruto is better than Naruto for me. Again, it is personal preferences, right? So I'm not saying it is a fact that he is better, but for me Boruto is better. Okay, next go My Hero Academia. I'm gonna rate it. Forgot. Again, it started good, but it got dragged out really badly. I even forgot at some point that it existed, but then I found out that it was ending, then I had to go and finish it. I finished it, it's ended, so if you want to binge it, you can. But for me, it was not good. It was not trash, but it was not good, so I'm gonna rank it at C tier. Fairy Tail, only because it is the first ever manga I have read. I feel like it is the first ever manga I have read. Maybe I'm wrong, maybe I have read something else, but it feels like Fairy Tail was the first ever one that I read. It has some emotional attachment, but after I have read many more mangas, right, like 65 plus, I see now why it was not good. It was decent, it was not bad, but it was not good. It was not good. The fan service was questionable, the story was questionable, the power scaling was questionable, but if I reread it, maybe something's gonna change. But because I read it only one time, and then after that I have read many better stories, for now it's in a C tier. Haikyu, decent bench. It's a volleyball manga, and I didn't think it were gonna be in the middle, B tier. I was like, when I started it, I thought it was just basic sports manga where main character tries to win the sport, but for some reason, after the middle, like getting closer to the end, it started getting me invested emotionally. I was invested in the character, like the character development of the main character, like Hinata, is very good. You can see how he evolved, and then later I got attached to his personality, like his character, and there were times, I'm not gonna spoil it, but there is a time where he gets really frustrated, and when he misses out on this big thing, it hit me and it made me tear up because I was so much invested in his journey. yeah, it is just because only at the end I felt this connection. I'm gonna put it at decent binge, but the connection is there, attachment is there, that's why it's gonna be B tier. Now Oyasumi Punpun, Goodnight Punpun, it is S tier. I don't even have any words to describe it. It is an experience. And I have read it when I was already depressed, and reading it at the time, I didn't realize how much it affected me, because after I finished it, I felt like my depression got a little bit worse. Because how relatable, how I'm not choking up right now, it is just me trying to find the words, but yeah, it is very depressing, it is very dark. Some people might find it hard to read. At times I found it hard to read, and I know for sure if I were to read it again, it's gonna be a whole another experience. And yeah, it is good, it is S tier, but it's not for everyone. I don't recommend it for everyone, but if you want to read it, if you're ready for it, I recommend it. It's really good. I don't want to talk too much about it. Let's move on. Vagabond S tier, first time ever. Because of Slam Dunk, I found out that the same author has another story about samurais. It is a story is about Miyamoto Musashi. He's a legendary Japanese character. I feel like he has been he's not only in Vagabond, he's been in many other Japanese legends. But yeah, this story is about him, his way, his career, of how he became this legend, and the art is really good, the story is really good. It was life-changing in a way that I learned some life lessons from his character, how to be a man, and me having a long hair partially is because of him. And yeah, when I get the comments like it look like Musashi, I feel a little good, because yeah, I want to be like him. For me, he is really good, really well written, very like good in a way that not well, but good in the world. The only bad part of it is that it's not finished. It went on to hiatus, and the author is doing another series right now. But still, I felt like it ended in a way that it doesn't really have to be continued, be resumed. The way it ended, you can think that it was the end of the story. Yeah, but it is S tier for me. It's up there. I recommend it. One Punch Man is almost perfect. How the story is the satire on the regular shonen, right? How there are always stronger and stronger opponents showing up, but for the main character they are not really a challenge, and they took it one step further and made it so that the main character always beats everyone with one punch. And this way it is really feels like really fresh, really unique, and there's a comedy elements to it, and it could be better. It's magazine, the author just does one thing, then goes back and does some rewriting stuff, and I read it and then I find out that something was changed from the previous chapter. I have to go back and read the previous chapter to understand why it was changed, but there is no explanation why it was changed. Like, yeah, maybe if it gets completed and you read from the start to the end, it's gonna be another new experience, but for now it is just almost perfect for me. Okay, why I have another Berserk, I don't know, I'm gonna leave it here. Dorohedoro, it is almost perfect. It is very dark. It is about a character who has turned his head to a lizard. He tries to find the wizard that turned him to a lizard. And these wizards are actually the devils, but it is really confusing. The story is really confusing, but very unique and mysterious at the same time, and it always keeps you interested. It is very dark and the ending might be really confusing, but I still recommend it. It's a good read. I really like the style, and I think it is very underrated. It has all the elements to be a popular manga. I don't know why it's not very popular. Okay, Dragon Ball, it's gonna be almost perfect only because I read it, only because I know it started everything. It is the manga, the birth of the big three, right? And it was the father of the genre of shonen, if I'm not mistaken, or maybe shonen was shonen existed before that as well, but Dragon Ball made it popular or something like that. Also, is growing up in the States. The Dragon Ball is very popular worldwide, right? And especially in the States. Having Dragon Ball games on my Nintendo, playing as a Trunks, seeing Piccolo, seeing Gohan and Goku, it all has some emotional connection to me, and that's why I went back and read the original. But it is, without the emotional connection, I don't think it would have been really that good, because it is really just standard story. The main character, he always beats the villain that comes, and the fights are really dragged, and he never loses. He dies, but he comes back stronger. Yeah, these parts, they have reasons to make it boring, uninteresting, but because of the emotional connection, I find it interesting, and I find it like A tier. If I didn't have emotional connection, it would have been lower. Okay, let's go Monster. I'm gonna rank almost perfect because I have read it at the time. It was really good, but later I lost connection to it. I forgot. But it is really good. It is really good. It is very grounded. It is very mysterious, always keeps you guessing, and the characters are very well written. It has this great question of what happens if you save someone and then this person turns out to be serial killer. It's a really good question, and it makes you think if it's really the right thing to save the person. And they explore this question in a really good way. Very interesting. I recommend it. Okay, Jujutsu Kaisen. It is for me. It is S tier. Only it is better than everything I have read here, but it is not quite S tier. He's just in the middle, but I can't put it in the middle between S tier and A tier. But it is highest A tier. I have read it few times. Also, I have collection of the volumes, physical copies, and the story feels refreshing. How the character is not really a hero. Actually, he's just a guy who is broken but wants to do a little bit of good in his own way. That's what makes me invested in the story. Also, everyone's favorite Gojo, right? Gojo is not the hero. He's not really a good guy. If he has to, he will sacrifice everything. And we have seen confirmation of that. So yeah, the world is very, very real. It feels real because of the things, because of the dynamics of this world. The story feels very unique, different. That's why it is very interesting. And also because I have read beginning as a binge, and then later I followed the ending with weekly chapters. I might have some slightly worse experience in the ending, and I feel like if I reread it, I can experience it better as a binge read. But I felt like ending was a little bit underwhelming. It could have been better, but still, as a whole, it is S tier for me. Vinland Saga is almost perfect. It is perfect, actually, but it is not life-changing. Why? Because I don't know. It just feels perfectly A tier. It is a really good story, really well written characters. Everything feels right, but it doesn't feel special. It's a good story about Vikings, about how one guy can become very wild and warmonger, but then he can change and become very peaceful, peace lover. But at the same time, it feels a little bit forced. So yeah, it will be A tier for me. It's not gonna go higher, it's not gonna go lower. Okay, Gantz gonna be a decent bench. I love Gantz. It is very dark. The world feels great. It's about people that they think they died, but they then wake up in a weird place, getting missions from a talking sphere, and they have to do some questionable missions. The concept is really great, the beginning is really great, but the ending feels a little bit dragged out, and ending feels a little bit out of place. It kinda, but not really. But yeah, I felt it was underwhelming. I didn't get the same amount of enjoyment while reading the whole thing as the beginnings. At the beginning, the enjoyment was better. It was not balanced well. Like ending didn't fulfill me enough, but it was good. It is better than everything below it. It deserves to be in the middle. At least in Hell, because I have recency bias, I'm gonna rank it at almost perfect, probably perfect. This is the last manga I have read, and it is steampunk, if I can say that, if I'm not wrong. Steampunk apocalypse vibes, and yeah, the story is very dark. Again, probably not for everyone, because there's violence, there is trauma, there is rape in it. But if you are okay with it, if it's not gonna affect you too much, if you read it, it is very well written. I feel like the main character, how he was portrayed, how it was shown, how twisted he was, in a very carefulness, with enough care, it was done really well. And it was not really long either. Like it was maybe 50 chapters, maybe a little bit less, maybe a little bit more. But yeah, actually I would have liked it if it had more chapters, but I was satisfied with the amount of chapters it already had. If there were more, I would have loved it, yes, but it didn't feel like it was short and it ended too quickly. It was good amount, and it was almost perfect. I really recommend it, but yeah, be warned, it's not for everyone. It has trauma. If you are okay, if you think you can handle it, it's really good. Okay, what we have left? The Breaker. The Breaker is... When I read it, I felt like it was S tier. Honestly speaking, right now I don't have arguments to argue why is it S tier, life-changing, but for me at the time when I read it, it was really new, it was very refreshing to seeing all the gore in it. Before it, I don't think I have ever read this much gore. It is martial arts, but the main character, he unlocks a power so great that just hitting someone leaves them in a very gory state. And the new he has to go and ask his mentor to train him so that he can control this power a little bit. At the time, it was really something new to me. It was very refreshing, and gore didn't feel disgusting for me. It felt okay. I'm not saying gore is okay, but it felt natural. If someone had this power, he would have had this level of destruction, he would have this kind of gore, and they're not making it okay. They're showing that it's not okay. That's why he tries to get away from that. That what connected with me, and that's why it is S tier for me. I will definitely go back and reread it. And Attack on Titan has to be almost perfect. The anime is S tier, I think. There's no argument there, but the manga, it is not really S tier for me. It is at the very top of A tier. Like the very first one in A tier, I think. He is there. He has one drop of something will make it S tier, and I'm not sure what it is. Maybe it is because of the ending, how it ended. It is controversial, and I remember when I first read it, it ended one way, but then I found out that the author went and added additional pages. I went there and read the additional pages, and it felt like it made the ending even worse. So for that reason, I'm gonna rate it at almost perfect. If it had better ending, I think it would have been at S tier. But the story is really great. It has the cycle of hate shown in such a creative way. Like the Naruto originally, they tried to make it about cycle of hate, but it doesn't really feel like it. But Attack on Titan, yeah, it feels like the story about cycle of hate. And when reading it, I felt like strong connection to the Holocaust. I know not many people do this connection, but for me it was very evident, and that makes it really interesting to look at from that perspective, seeing what's happening in a manga be so reflective of what's happening in the world. Like it was, if it was about Holocaust, right? If it was about before, but now, even at the current time, because of the situation in the Middle East, how well aged the story is, it's really baffling. Maybe I should put it S tier, yeah, for that reason. Even though the ending is not great, the story, the premise is so great that even today I can feel the reflection of it on the real world. That's why it's gonna be S tier. Okay, and then Full Metal Alchemist, it's gonna be perfect. It's perfectly at the top. I don't think it's S tier, but it is really good. The Chimera moment, it left me with so many emotions. The story itself is really great, but I didn't feel anything special. I read it once and I felt like that was enough. Maybe I will read it again sometime in the future, I'm not sure. I'm not opposed to the idea of reading it again. Let's put it that way. It was good and good enough to be at A tier. So the last one will be Death Note. Death Note is A tier because it is so anime was so good. It left again emotional connection, and how a person trying to do good but in a wrong way makes him a villain. That is really interesting, and how that killing people even though they deserve it does not make you a hero. that idea seems really interesting to me, and I like the dynamic between Yagami and L, and how they are always trying to outsmart each other. Yeah, it is really interesting. It makes you keep thinking, trying to find the flaws in each other's plans together with the characters, trying to catch either Yagami, Light Yagami, or either L, depending on who you are rooting for. Yeah, that felt like a really good experience for me when I was reading it. So, but I don't think it has like S tier, but it has potential. But for me, for some reason, it's not S tier. So yeah, so this is it. This is all the mangas I have read. Maybe I have forgot about some of it, and if I have forgotten, it probably means it was somewhere here at I forgot or at S. So yeah, I'm pretty sure I have not missed anything that was at S tier or A tier. But yeah, this is my tier list of the manga I have read, and if you have any comments about it, if you think that I made some I'm not gonna say mistake, but if I missed something and why some manga should be higher or lower, I am open to discussion about that, but it doesn't mean I'm gonna change it. It doesn't mean I'm gonna try to convince you otherwise. I just want to know what you guys think, why it should be higher or why it should be lower, because again, it is about personal connection. It's about personal preferences. For me, the list looks like this. For you, it's gonna look completely different, and I think it's fine. It is really fine. It's just matter of taste. Again, rating Boruto higher than Naruto is gonna upset some of the people I know even, and I'm okay with that, because it's, for me, yeah, as a manga enjoyer, just Boruto gives me more of what I want, and same goes for every single manga I have linked so far. And yeah, I also have, if I have rated like 65 manga here, it was showing 66. No, it is 66 because I added one entry later, I think. So let's say 66. I'm sure I have another 66 on my list, in the reading list, like JoJo. I want to read JoJo's Adventure, Bizarre Adventures. I want to read Cage of Eden. I know it's really interesting. Claymore is on my list. Ice Shield is on my list. Kingdom is on my list. No Game No Life. Real, it is the manga that Slumdog Hunter is doing right now. Also, I have Seven Deadly Sins. I have Dadadan. Is it Dadadan on my list? I have Assassination Classroom. I have Blame. Devil May Cry, Hell's Paradise, Hero Killer. Yeah, so the list is very long, and that's why I'm saying maybe it's 66 more, and I'm gonna read them at some point. And I don't know if I'm gonna add them to this list or create another list for the other things that I've read. We'll see. But yeah, I need to read more, and after reading more, I'm gonna decide if I wanna add them to the list or do another list. But for now, this is the ones I have read, I have finished, and this is my opinion. Again, it's only opinion. Please don't feel like I have rated your favorite manga or manhwa low. It doesn't mean that the story is bad, it just means it was not for me. And to leave a comment if you think you have some kind of arguments on any entry, I'll gladly participate in that discussion. Well, that's it for now. It was longer than I expected. I didn't expect it gonna take like 2.5 hours, 2 hours and 40 minutes to do the tier list, and maybe I focused on some of the entries more than the others, but yeah, it is me first time doing something like this, and I'm a little bit sick. I just wanted to do this and see how it goes, and maybe I'll do, and yeah, and leave a comment on what you think I did good, or which parts I did like bad, so I can improve it on the next tier list I do. So yeah, if you liked it, share it with your friends. Maybe they get some good recommendations, or maybe you got some good recommendations out of it. If that's the case, I'm really glad manga I have read and I was able to share it and make an impact on you. I would be really happy. Also, yeah, tell me if you have, let me know if you have any other recommendations, depending on the things I have read. If you think that I will enjoy something, I would appreciate that as well. That's it for now. Hope to see you guys the next stream. So yeah, that's it. Thank you for joining. If you're watching from a replay, thank you for watching it. If you're watching on YouTube, thank you for watching it on YouTube. I appreciate it. I appreciate support. I hope you guys like it and come and join me live next time. Yeah, stay safe, hydrate, take care of yourself.